in 2014, but we get him today at our club. So,
Thank you, thank you, Dr. You're standing all come around, so don't have my back to anyone. I want to pay you a very huge compliment right off the bat. Looks and sounds and acts and feels like a Lions Club in here. That's a compliment.
Thank you.
I want to also thank you for your hospitality and the invitation from Beverly and Neil and Zach, your gracious hospitality. And it's great to be among friends, and I also want to thank you for welcoming Jordan and Brett into a new Lions Club. Jordan has some history in Lionism back in West Virginia, but came here and this club was recommended to her and she wanted to become a member here and immediately sponsored Brett as a member of this club. So thank you very much for opening your arms to them. Cindy and I have gotten an opportunity through your graciousness and Lions like you all over this world to be able to represent the association and to visit people and see the best of what people have to offer. Now, I gave you a little provocative title, the remarks to hear. I used to believe. I'm going to get into some of the things that I learned from traveling in behalf of this association that changed my attitude about things, that made me see things differently. It's very common when you're an international director to people to say to you, where's the favorite place you visited? And I always thought in terms of people, not scenery. I love the Badlands. I love the southern coast of Spain. I love Australia and being with the club there on the coast. But the people is really what made the beauty of what we did. That enriched me beyond any measure. I can't tell you. When you ask me, and if Deb were here and asked me, what's it like? I can only say, Deb, you have to do it to really understand. I cannot relate to any of you how wonderful that experience was. But I used to believe that all Lions should look alike and all Lions clubs should act alike and all Lions clubs should observe certain traditions. I don't believe that anymore. I think that there can be tribes within a Lions club that enhance the membership experience for everybody. That if you get 2 or 3 project chairs who work together on this project, that the whole club does not have to buy into it, but the club prospers every time they're successful. I used to believe that everybody in the Lions Club needed to be in a meeting. I don't believe that anymore. But you see, that's an impossible task. If you can get everybody here on the same day, then you thank God, because it was a stroke of genius. People have busy lives. They're mobile, and especially those with children. I heard an associate pastor at our church about 3 weeks ago. Cindy and I were there, and he talked about he used to stew and worry himself sick over there's not a big enough congregation here. And he said, and then I learned that the ones who were there were the ones that needed my attention. Stop worrying about who isn't there. Focus on who is there. And I believe that in Lionism also. I used to believe, and I learned this from some traditionalists, that to be effective, I had to have a shirt and tie on. I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe that. I have a pin. I believe greatly in pins. You don't have to, but I want to do that. And as a representative of the association, I'll always put on my name badge, as will my counterpart back there, who, by the way, is good to see you again this morning. We took an oath to represent the association for the rest of our lives. So I will always have my badge on representing the association. I used to believe that you had to be around for a while and you had to learn the ropes before you could successfully chair a committee or lead a project. I don't believe that anymore. I think the heart guides what you do. If you have the heart of a lion, The rest of it comes easy. I know, like most clubs at this point in time, Zach, at this time of the year, you don't have a vice president. That's not an uncommon thing, and that's not a sin. Someone will raise their hand or step forward quietly. I used to think that when we had a project and we passed out a sign-up sheet, that everybody should sign up. I don't believe that anymore. You're more likely to get volunteers if you talk in the parking lot. If you talk by text after a while, someone will raise her hand or his hand and be willing to chair that project or become a vice president for this club. I used to believe that we all needed a podium in front of us and a gong and a gavel, until a couple presidents who were like 25 years old. The traditionalists in me always carried a nice little podium built by a fellow lion with a nice lion emblem on the front. I sat it up in front of her one night, and I happened to be visiting a club where we had a glass of wine and a couple beers before the meeting. Oh, no, now that's a tradition. Traditionalists wouldn't go for that. I used to believe, like I was taught, that you couldn't imbibe at a Lions Club meeting. Now, don't mistake for a minute that I'm promoting the sale of alcohol. But I see no harm whatsoever with a group of people who, if they're willing to come together and they're willing to plan projects and they're willing to help the blind school and put up flags for your community, if they want to have a beer, more power to it, because I'm going to have one with them. Okay? But anyway, getting back on point, I used to believe that those things weren't for a Lions Club, but they are. Not a person in this room, including Zach and Jordan and Brett, wouldn't like to recruit more people their age. I used to think that a Lions Club needed all younger people. Now I believe it needs a nice blend of people who want to be together, who can tolerate their differences, who can overcome the differences between them and create a bigger organization through synergy. We need some traditionalist thinking. There's some things we should never, ever let go of. The American flag, a club banner, the fun that you have together, but there's some things that don't define me or you as a Lion. Getting back to the president, after the meeting started, she politely, without saying a word to me, she politely took the podium and put it down on the floor. I got the message. I got the message. That happened in Ohio also with me. I get the message. I'll set the podium on the floor. If they want to use it, they can use it. You see, you've got to look at things differently if you want to build this association. It is no secret to any of you. You read the same numbers that I read. We have a declining membership. That is a misnomer. I used to believe that was because we didn't recruit enough members. That isn't the case if you read the other columns. We have consistently over the past 25 years recruited more members than we did the year before. What we did not do is save them and nurture them. This column over here where they're wanting to exit is growing. This one's growing, but this one's growing at a faster pace. So I think every Lion in this association, particularly in the United States of America and Canada, has to say to herself or himself, what do we want to be? What do we want to be in the future? We need to be a club of tribes, and then we need to be a district of club tribes. Not every situation is going to demand my same interest level. You love your flag project. You love to support LCIF. You love to do a lot of those things. For me, if you really want to excite me, then let's go read to some first or second graders. That's the single thing that doesn't cost me anything but 15 minutes or a half hour and a little bit of gas to drive across town. And I get my thrill by doing a read-aloud program in a couple of local schools. That may not be for you, Zach. That may not be for Ron. He may be turned on with supporting veterans, local veterans who are homeless, local veterans who have served and forgotten. That's what I call the tribal attitude. We can blend all that we like together and create a much bigger organization from it. The other thing I wanted to talk to you just a few minutes about is going forward, we need to mentor as many people in our organization as we can. And we need to look at new voices, like I think Gudrun really intended new voices to be. Obviously, in the year of a woman president, she felt compelled by the voices talking to her to create a program which would emphasize women in leadership. And I totally support that. But when I first learned about this program, I also thought, she's also saying, if you read between the lines, finding those lions within each club whose voice has never been heard yet. Find that 5-year member who is hanging on and staying involved, but they never had an opportunity to speak their voice yet. That's a new voice that needs to be heard. We need to mentor the new voices. The new voices will be the first or second vice president. Maybe not this month, maybe not next month, but if we nurture them and give them opportunities, and what am I really talking about? You don't have to spend club time to do that. What you do is you talk to them in the parking lot. You talk to them at their child's soccer game. You've got to invest yourself and your time in finding out what is that new voice, what's that inner voice saying to them? What is it Cindy Hoover would really like to see in a Lions Club? What is it that any Cindy out there, what is it that the young lady serving us today would like to see in a Lions Club? We need to start asking those people. We need to start finding those type of voices. That's what New Voices really is all about to me. For those of you who are going to be a district governor, we give you a couple challenges. And I'll close with that. In looking at things differently, when you visit Lions clubs in this coming year, as the governor, are you going to give them a speech? You don't have to answer this question. or are you going to have a conversation with them? I would challenge you to think about having a conversation with them. And see if this rings true to you also. When you visit this club or any other club, and you do your formal remarks, whether it's a conversation without a podium, or whether it's a speech, when you leave and 2 or 3 lines beat you at your car, that's when you'll really earn your district governor reward. Because always there are lions who are on the margin, whose voice hasn't been heard. And they'll either express their pain to you, or they will express their excitement at having an opportunity to do something. And they'll want you to leave. I've never had an official district governor visit, and Cindy, I think, can attest to this. When the meeting was over, she held a meeting with 2 or 3 people, and 2 or 3 people in the club would hold a meeting with me. Those are the people who we need to allow to have their voice expressed. And it doesn't mean you're bad leaders. It doesn't mean that at all. It doesn't mean that you're ignoring people. You are caught up in the moment, conducting a meeting, doing what you need to do, and you never stop to think, Chris, what is your opinion? What is your opinion? We spend our time talking at people. We're not really understanding who we're talking to. That's what a new voice is all about. With that, I used to think a lot of things I don't think anymore. I used to believe a lot of things that I don't believe anymore. I think the future is in talking to people one-on-one, encouraging people one-on-one. That's where you find your future leaders. That's where you find the success of this association. That's when the club begins to grow. Because when I have a satisfied lion, that's the best recruitment tool that we can ever find in a Lions Club, because you're going to go out and look for some your age, look and think like you, and you're going to bring them in. And then when you do, it's up to the others to mentor and nurture them and let them be a tribe if they want to. They don't have to. They don't have to wear a vest. They don't have to wear a pin. They don't have to wear a cap. But they do have to wear a lion all over their body. Smile, and the way you treat people, people know it. They really, really know it. Let me leave you with one true story. This happened in Moncton, New Brunswick, about 5 years ago. I was there doing a multiple district convention. And on Friday night at the hospitality room, there was a lion drifted over to me. His name's Michael. He was my age. He said, "Director, may I have a private word with you for a minute? See, here's one of those meetings." And I said, "Yeah." So we stepped out in the hallway, leaned up against the wall, and he said, he started to get a little emotional with me standing there. He said, "You know, I've been in my Lions Club 2 years, and I don't think half the people know my name, and I don't think they care whether I'm here or not." And he said, I was about ready to chuck it in. This was a Friday night. But he said, on Wednesday of this week, I go down to the waterfront park and I walk. And he said, about 6:30 in the morning, I'm going down through there in my truck and I see this well-used van, let's put it that way. He said, here was a man and a woman sitting in the van, and I looked briefly and it probably looked like a 12, 13-year-old girl sitting there with him. And my first instinct was to pass them by. But he said, I stopped momentarily and looked back, and I thought, I'm going to back up and help him. He said, on the left rear side of my bumper was one of those old orange and black stickers. Remember, Neil, it's great to be a lion. We got a white cane on them. Some of us can remember that. He had one of those, somebody gave him. He said, when I backed up, parallel to them, I went across, and the guy was getting out of his car, and he said, I heard that little girl say to her mother, Mom, I knew that guy would stop and help us. He's a lion. He said, I'm not quitting. I'm going to hang in there. But can you give me some guidance on how to overcome what I'm looking at in my club? I said, you'll figure it out, Michael. That's the motivational story. Always going to be a lion. That's the pin. That's the best. That's the captain. Hey, it's great to be with you. I've kept you long enough. Thanks for the hospitality and the breakfast, and I'm anxious to see what else is going on here in this great club. So thank you so much.
Awesome.